List of alleged extraterrestrial beings. Number 5. Carians and Felines. Before we begin, do not forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. The Carians, the bird people. Parent race of the reptilians. The Carians are a race of bird-like beings. At their most evolved state, the ruling class of the Carians resemble humans with eagle-like features and coloring. Like the original felines, the Carians first arrived in this universe when it was being created. A group of 45 came at the request of the founders of this universe to help assist and oversee the universal game. The founders gave the Carians a new planet in the Orion constellation for their home. It was more tropical in design and featured an abundance of humid swamps and jungles. It also had more islands than large land masses. Like the felines, they were etheric and, therefore, had to develop physical bodies from the life forms evolving on the planet's surface. Of course they chose the life form that would become the bird, and over a period of hundreds of thousands of years, they developed bodies of varying colors and sizes. The Carians were known for their unique affinity towards colored plumage and so created physical bodies that reflected their creative talent in this area. That is why the Carians have much more variety of size, shape, and color in their race than do the felines. They can be 12 feet tall or only a few inches in height. Also, like the felines, a group of the original 45 Carians remained etheric and became a council that oversaw and managed the development of their brothers and sisters who chose to incarnate on the planet as part of the upgrading of their physical forms. When their physical vehicles had reached a certain level of development, they began genetic crossing, something they had learned from the felines, with certain reptiles that had evolved in the swamps and warmer regions of the planet. The result of this genetic program was the creation of a new hybrid race known to us as the Draconians. They were part Carian and part reptile. In time the Draconians became more abundant in the royal line of Aln than the purebred Carians. And like the felines, eventually the house of Aln would be peopled more by Draconians, and their first derivative the flying serpents, snakes, than Carians. By the time of the first Earth Grand Experiment, the house of Aln was headed by a winged serpent known as Kobazar. Kobazar is the father of Jehovah. The Carians are known for their sharp analytical abilities and organizational skills. A predominant character trait of the Carians is their need to maintain a good appearance and image at all times. They are good team players as long as the team structure involves discipline and strictly adhered to codes of conduct. You will find a preponderance of Carians involved in the creation and maintenance of stargates, dimensional grids, and magnetic fields throughout our galaxy and universe. Their inherent analytical abilities make them well suited for this kind of work. They are also known for their militaristic capabilities, and their starships are more advanced than any in the universe. They held the majority of the military posts during the first Earth Grand Experiment. It was a Carian commander that ruled over the vast fleet of starships and cruisers for the Lyran Galactic Federation, and the royal houses of Avion and Aln. The felines, the lion people. Parent race of the humans. The felines are one of the two primary races in our universe. They arrived here by invitation of the founders. Having successfully completed their universal game and completing their universe, a group of 45 felines volunteered to come to this universe to help set up and oversee the same game here. The felines are a bipedal race that stand 12 to 16 feet tall. Their skin is covered by a sort of soft fuzz, and though they don't have fur, they do have manes, and both the males and females have long hair. Their eye color ranges from blue to gold and can change from blue to gold as they mature. They also turn from a golden brown color to white. The overall feline temperament is warm, sanguine and intellectual. As they mature they take on more of a somber, introspective, and gentle nature. The elders are revered for the wisdom, compassion, and insight. As a race they are extremely close and have a great sense of fair play. The females are revered and honored in equal status with the males. And true to the feline way, they are all very curious and inquisitive. As part of the universal game, the founders gave the felines a new planet in the Lyra constellation for their home. The felines named it Avion. Now this is not the exact pronunciation, nor spelling, but it is close enough. The real name cannot be translated into English. Avion was a paradise planet with mountains, lakes, streams, and oceans. This blue planet was very much like our present Earth in form and variety of vegetation and life forms. When the felines arrived, they were in etheric form, and therefore, went through the stage of evolving a physical body in which to reside on the planet. After many millions of years they evolved the lion and other felines and began incarnating into those forms. As part of the plan, a portion of the original felines stayed in etheric form to provide guidance to those incarnating. They would be the equivalent of your modern-day Christos beings. Remember, this was a 3D planet, and once the etheric felines incarnated they would fall under the veil of amnesia that is part of the workings of a 3D planet of free will. As time passed, and through countless incarnation cycles, the felines evolved a line of felines that walked upright and retained the consciousness of their etheric counterparts thanks to the periodic incarnations of some of the etheric felines, and DNA from a bipedal mammal similar to the ape, that was evolving on the planet as well. With the DNA from the ape-like mammal the felines were able to take on a more human-like body while retaining most of the facial features and other characteristics of the feline. It was from this crossing when it reached a certain stage that the genetic line known as the Royal Line of Avion, or House of Avion, came into being. The etheric felines would continue to take turns incarnating to provide not only DNA upgrading, but teaching and training in higher dimensional principles lest their planet-bound brothers and sisters get stuck in the non-sentient animal incarnation cycle. As you can see, the felines evolved on Avion in much the same manner as humans evolved here on Earth. The only difference is that the humans did get stuck in the animal cycle. More on that on the Universal History page. In time the conscious felines grew large enough in number to take on the responsibilities of planetary guardians of their home world. They continued to evolve and eventually developed the technology for space travel and then warp technology. Their etheric brothers and sisters continued to act as their guides. Many among them became geneticists, a feline specialty, and began helping to develop life forms of various kinds for planets and stars in the universe. Some among them became great space explorers and scientists of various kinds. It was during this stage in their development that the felines would turn their attention to that bipedal mammal they owed so much to, and begin a program of genetic crossing and upgrading that would give them a soul and, in the process, create a new species that would become known as the humans. After numerous crossings and genetic upgrades, the Adamic human was made. There were two strains, the red-headed strain being the more outgoing and energetic, and the platinum blonde strain being the more gentle-natured and introspective. After many thousands of years of continued careful crossing breeding, the feline/human hybrids began to be more common in the royal line of the felines, the House of Avion, than the purebred felines were. Yet, this was the plan. In time the purebred felines would become the ancient ancestors of the humans with only their genetic traits as a reminder of the connection between them. And though the genetic relationship between the felines and humans has been forgotten by modern man, the felines remain in our consciousness as a regal creature, worthy of our respect and love. The felines remain the loving and supportive guardians of their genetic offspring, the humans. They have continued in this role through time and all dimensions of the universal game. Devon, feline, is the reigning patriarch of the 9D Royal House of Avion, and Anu, human, is the reigning patriarch of the 5D Royal House of Avion at this time. This was it. Did you like this video and do you want more of this kind of videos? Then just like and subscribe.